Today I'm here with Bonnie, and Bonnie has made a wonderful quilt for Butler Elementary, and this is going to be auctioned off or raffled off. There's going to be a whole bunch of quilts this being done, and all these moms are making these quilts. So this is the one that you made, and the kids helped you make this.
Yes.
And you actually picked out a peace sign, and the kids ironed this on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you stitched around it so it would be just a soft little rag on there. And you also did hearts, and she used a striped fabric, and then a block right there. So this is just a wonderful quilt. You sashed the blocks together. But now we need to layer it and quilt it, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. What I have here that we just use as a makeshift thing, which I want to show you guys how to do this at home, is I have a very ugly piece of plywood. It's an extremely thin piece of plywood, and I just put it on a card table. This piece of plywood I keep under a rug so that it's just very easy to access and it's not viewable when we don't need it. So what we're going to do, Bonnie, is we are going to first of all, let's set your quilt aside. Let's lay your quilt on top of that here and see how we're going to do. But we're going to teach everybody how to layer and stretch out a quilt. So let's see your quilt size top, and then that'll help us decide where to put the fabric. Oh, this is perfect, this piece of plywood for this. Okay, so let's go ahead to optimize your fabric use. Let's slide some of this fabric down. Okay. So you've got a little bit of an edge. How about this much of an edge?
Okay.
Maybe about 1.5 inches around the whole circumference. Right there.
Is that going to be on this side too, you mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to take this off because we now know where we're going to lay this quilt. What we use is, you can just get this from Office Max, Office Depot. They're just standard office paper clips. And we are going to go, and you're going to go on that side.
Okay.
So let's move our plywood. See, it's so nice. It's movable, functional. And we're going to go opposite each other.
Okay.
So you go ahead and just give a little stretch and pull whenever you put it on there.
Okay.
And we're going to move this down and stretch and pull. And that way you're going to have a really flat back.
Okay.
And then you're going to machine quilt this later on the sewing machine. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And same thing on, I guess if you rotate our board.
Okay.
You know, it's just one of the benefits. I'm just using a piece of plywood to do this.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah, and it's nice
You don't
and
have to have so
thin.
much room in the room.
So you can put it underneath a rug, which is where I store it, and it doesn't bother anything. You know, although some people notice that there's a piece of plywood under the rug.
It's so hard over
I don't
here.
care. This is the playroom area for the kids, okay? So that doesn't matter to me. The kids can have a piece of plywood under their playroom area. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take your batting, which you purchased a loft batting, a polyester loft batting. Typically I use more of a traditional cotton batting, but this is going to work just great. And let's see, let's pull this over here. And let's go ahead and, oh, this is even bigger. So pull that way.
Because I got a really thin one.
Yeah, that's great. Because that'll be easier. In fact, let's shift this way.
Okay.
I think is the way it should go. That'll be even easier for you to push through the sewing machine.
Okay.
To have a nice thin back. So now we're going to do the same thing.
With the clips? Okay.
And we're going to then layer this part. So
should we have it just come to the edge or hang over a little bit?
You can have it hang over just a little bit
Okay.
on that side. So go ahead and hold just a little bit. There you go. And then let's just start clamping again. And you just.
And should I pull to make it tight or not?
It's okay, just as long as it's nice and it's not bubbly. You don't want it too tight.
Right.
But good question. But we just want it flat so that it'll be workable on the sewing machine. So we'll go ahead and redo these clamps all the way around.
Wait, now this side.
You can pull more.
Okay, because it's a little bit more.
Yep. And we'll go ahead over here and do the same thing. So this is actually not that overwhelming of a project, don't you think?
No.
Now this
I think it
doesn't
was like
reach
this
down
one
here,
this one.
but what we can do is take some heavy tape and tape that down, and I can
Okay.
grab that in a few minutes. But in the meantime, you've got this pretty nicely done. And then what I use is small safety pins. And one of the things that you do is you decide how you're going to machine quilt your quilt.
That's what I want to know. Am I supposed to go down the middle? Am I supposed to, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go.
Okay, one of the things that I would suggest is that you stitch in the ditch around each of these blocks.
So
on the
right
white.
where the white and the blue meet.
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah. And then, I think it'd be really fun if you had more energy to do it, is to maybe just do a stitch right around your design.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Which I think it would make your design pop a little bit more.
Okay. Around each piece symbol and the heart.
Yes.
Too? Oh, well,
Yeah.
as well? Okay.
And then, and then you're gonna stitch in the ditch up here. So you're gonna stitch in the ditch around here, and then you're gonna stitch in the ditch along your red border.
Okay.
So you decide where you're going to do that so that you know where to place your pins. Because you don't want to place your pins in the path of where you're going to be sewing.
So,
So-
like right in the middle of this.
Yeah,
where-
let's put one right in the middle. And you want to try to, when you're doing this, get all the layers. And if you're having a hard time going through the applique and the sticky part of your applique process that the kids helped iron on, you know, just go over to the side so you're not
Okay.
going through more layers than you need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably put, let's see here. We put 2 pins on each side in the center of this block. And then maybe if we put a pin in each one of these 4 corners.
Okay.
And
On the red?
actually, no, on these 4 corners right here on the white.
Oh, okay.
So, and if we can put these a little close to your actual applique design, because we're going to have, what I want you to do first is your stitch in the ditch around the block. And
Okay.
then we can go ahead and after you stitch in the ditch around the block, we'll take out these safety pins, the 4 in the 4 corners.
Mhm.
But I just don't want you to have to worry about hitting the sewing machine foot with this.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and proceed to put 6 pins in each block. Now some people really overpin and they just do one every inch. But I find for getting a project done quickly and when you're just beginning, that this amount of pinning is just fine. You know, for pushing it through the sewing machine, and I think you'll work out just fine on that. So, at any rate, but let's go ahead and work and. Okay, so we have got this all pinned. You did a great job, Bonnie. Wasn't too hard,
No.
don't you think? And it was nice to be able to shift this
Yeah.
around a few times. But what we're going to do is let's go ahead and pop all the clamps off and put them in the center because we need to shift your quilt over because it's a little bit bigger than
Including
this.
these?
Yep, it's a little bit bigger than the size of our plywood that we have. And so now let's go ahead and pull that over so that we've got the corner of this. And your quilt
Oops, pulled too far.
is just only a little bit too small.
Ah.
So there we go. And so now we just need to pin this one section here. So we're going to reclamp this.
Okay.
So let me go opposite of you. And let's do this again. And then we'll go ahead and we'll pin the remaining portion of this. So I just wanted to be able to demonstrate how if your quilt is larger than the piece of plywood that you're working with, how you can shift it over.
Do you want to?
That's good. Okay, Bonnie, so we've got this all done. So let's take off our clamps and let's put them in the basket. And so your quilt is now ready to be layered and is ready to be machine quilted. So we're going to just trim off some of the excess batting and fabric that you've got so you don't have that
Trim
bulb.
here even.
Yeah, take everything off. And it's ready to go. So we will start machine quilting this. But this is just an episode on how to layer and get your quilt ready for machine quilting. So thank you.